causing your friend to remain single that you don't have the heart to tell them? I experienced my first religious awakening when I finally beat the incel rumors. I grew up in an Amish community, which meant my family was extremely against mustaches and anything from the outside world. We grew our own crops, unalived our own cows and pigs, and we even made homemade toothpaste. I always knew I wanted to have something more in my life though, so when I was finally 18 years old, I begged my parents to let me go to a local college. They nearly kicked me out of the house at the sheer mention of college because they were scared my mind would become diluted with the evils of outside women. Eventually, I wore them down enough to let me go part-time. I spent the next few days entirely making over my entire look, including my long beard, and getting some t-shirts instead of formal attire so that people would talk to me. I even tried to catch up on pop culture by watching Star Wars because I heard some guys talk about it once, so it must be a hot topic. I even scrubbed my teeth extra hard with my parents' toothpaste because they were extremely yellow, and I was afraid that some people wouldn't be okay with that. When I left for my first day, I had to sneak out in a cowboy hat so they wouldn't see my new haircut. I rode my bike to school, and when I got there, everything seemed so different. Everyone wore PJs to school, had these trendy backpacks, and opposite genders were allowed to touch each other without chaperones. I felt like I was going to have an aneurysm from taking in too much all at once. I was convinced that I was wearing all of the wrong types of clothes and standing wrong. I even thought my smile was weird. But the minute I walked into my class, the people next to me started conversations with me so quickly. I thought I was in some type of movie because they were being so kind to me, but when I went to respond, they looked at me weirdly. One of them even pinched their nose and the other made a loud gagging sound. For the rest of the class, I heard them whispering to each other and laughing extremely hard while pointing at me. I was convinced that I said something wrong, but when someone else spoke to me, they did the same thing. I didn't even say anything more than just hi. It was like a constant cycle of someone coming up to me and complimenting my clothes or shoes, but then running away the minute I said something. When I got home, I considered not going back at all and giving in to my parents. But when I looked at my homework, I realized that I actually liked school, so I went back, even if I knew I didn't have any friends. Luckily, I was wrong because the minute I got back, a girl came up to me to be partners in our bio lab. She said she loved my shirt, but this time, she couldn't run away like everyone else because she was tied to me, professor's laws. Although she was stuck with me, she didn't seem to hate it, even though she usually kept 5 feet away from me. We would walk each other to classes, get lunch, and went to the library together that very night. It was like she couldn't get enough of me, all while staying a respectable distance from me, which I actually appreciated because I didn't want to violate my values either. Every day since then, we would constantly rant about our biology class together, talk about literally everything, and I couldn't handle 1 minute apart from her. It was like I found my first best friend in the world. But everything changed when midterm season rolled around. We were studying late into the night, daydreaming about what we could eat while looking at the mitochondria. She started talking about pasta and how badly she'd want some chicken Alfredo, and I gave her a crazy look and told her she made that up. She literally paused so dramatically and asked if I really didn't know what that was. When I said yes, she actually left the room. I thought she was leaving like everyone else did when I said something stupid, but she came back in an hour with homemade chicken Alfredo.